Luke Shaman TV here with Chris Millington. So 1-1 draw. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. I thought it felt like a tie against a top of the table side, which obviously it was. I thought it was a good tactical battle for us, and I think we did well in that sense. I think we set out in the first half. We know that Barnet concede the majority of their goals from counter attacks. And that's by design. It won't be surprised to Dean Brennan that that's the situation, because they are so front-footed and aggressive in possession. They leave themselves vulnerable in that sense, and that's the trade-off they have. But we felt that would be an opportunity for us in the first half of the game, because they are very, very good in the first half of games. And then the intention was second half to change shape and try and create more periods of possession, try and create better periods of territory, and we probably did that. I think we've had the goal first half. We had an excellent chance with Andrew's ball across the box, which it'd been great if Billy could have got his toe to. And then the real big chance in the second half was the corner to the back stick, where we've got 2/3 of the goal to put it in and can't quite do it. But all in all, pleased with the game. I think when you come here, the intensity of the game is so high for so long because of the multi-ball system. Our players are having to deal with a game where the ball's in play for somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes more than it would be at the Shea, because at the Shea we've obviously got these big empty stands where the ball goes disappearing for periods of time, and that means that the ball's in play for longer here, so the level of intensity is greater. In a way it's great because we want to be playing in those types of games, but in the other sense it's frustrating because we also wanted the multi-ball system at the Shea, but the league in their wisdom didn't feel it was necessary. Bizarre really, but yeah, that's my opinion of the game, Luke.
Got something, a relatively even opening period, and then Billy Waters getting us out in front.
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, Barnet will point to the fact that they've probably had more of the ball, they've had more box entries, but you think of the number of saves Sam's had to make, and there aren't a right lot really. Disappointed with the way we conceded, but pleased with the way we scored and the chances we did create. But yeah, pleased with the first half performance.
And obviously after that, getting ourselves 1-0 up, very nearly made it 2-0 before. Slightly unusual goal to put us back level.
Yeah, it was a big chance, the one where Andrew's put the ball across the box, and it's come across the box very quickly, and if it would just had a little bit less on it, then maybe Billy gets a toe to it and it's in the back of the net and we're 2-0 up. But then the goal we concede, it's one that we could have, from the point where the midfielder picks it up and drives up the field, there's 2 or 3 opportunities for us to put it right, and we didn't quite manage to do so, and it ends up in the back of our net. So the initial reaction is disappointment, but we've come to a place where Barnet just do not lose here. The only game they've dropped points here this season is against Oldham, and that was a draw, so they're unbeaten at home, and they've won all bar one of those games. So it might be a bit greedy to have wanted to come away with all 3 after such a game like that, a fairly even game. But it's a mark of where we've come as a group, and in terms of performance that we feel we could, and on a different day maybe come away with all 3 points.
Second half started as the first sort of finish, but then as it went on, very much grew into it, and by the end looked the more likely side to probably go on and win it.
Yeah, and again, we know, we do our research, we know when Barnet are strong, we know how they're strong, we do it with every opposition. We set out with a game plan in the first half. We set up with a shape that we knew would create counter-attacking opportunities. From the hard work of the front 3, we knew it was going to give us opportunities to counter. Then the plan was always to change shape at half-time, and special mention goes to Jack Jenkins and Angelo Capello, because I thought both of them had a really good first half, in fairness. Ange, potentially his best performance in a few weeks, and they were sacrificed for the greater good of the team, not because anything they'd done wrong. And it's important that I say that. It's important that people hear that, because we're a together group, and they were the ones who had to make the sacrifice for us today. But that meant that we changed shape. We wanted to try and get pressure a little higher up the pitch. Didn't work for probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of the half, where we were camped in our half. But then as the half wore on, we started to gain more possession and create more opportunities going forward. So it was pleasing that worked. But we knew that Dean and his staff had been at half time trying to fix the problems we'd presented in terms of our defensive shape. We knew they'd be trying to come up with solutions at half time, and we felt if we posed them some different questions with a change of shape at half time, it'd help. And I think it did. I think the only real time we felt under any real threat was when Hayes, the goalie, he's hitting diags onto their left wing and onto Kabamba, who's peeling off to the left. That was the sort of go-to tactic to try and break us down, which is pleasing because it suggests that what we were doing was working. But listen, these are a very, very good side. You're right up there with the likes of the Forest Greens and the Oldhams of the division, who are just relentless in how they play, and they'll do very well this season. But I think today's about our lads getting some credit for coming and getting a very, very credible point.
Of course, with the point today, that's 4 from 6 against one of the league's top sides.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think we managed to net twice, didn't we, at home this season, and then we've taken points off them here. So it's really pleasing, and I think the great thing for us is you look at where we're at midway point of the season. We're 3 points ahead of where we were this time last season. So what we set out to do was have a stronger first half of the season. We've managed to do that. I think where we're at in terms of the development of the group is we have more room for growth. I think we're in a really positive place. We're very solid as a unit. We're playing some good stuff, but with Scott High coming back, with Galvin and Wright being back available, we've obviously got Aidan George and Harvey Sutcliffe very close to being fully fit, and Owen Bray, who's unfortunately missed out on travelling today, and that's for no reason other than the fact that we needed to cover all the positions on the bench. So that meant that a very good player in Owen Bray didn't have the opportunity to travel. So it feels like we're entering the second half of the season in a really positive way, and I know that was recognised by the fans today. Their backing was phenomenal. I thought, considering it's a good number, over 100 travelling Shaman, but outnumbered obviously by the Barnet fans, but they made such a lot of noise in backing the lads today. Really phenomenal. I think they recognise that we're in a good place, and we've got an awful lot to be hopeful and expectant for in the second half of the season.
Because we start the second half of the season away on Boxing Day to Altrincham.
Yeah, always a test, always a real challenge. I think they've probably sort of changed, adapted a little bit to life in the National League. I think a couple of seasons ago they were all about having the ball and keeping possession at all costs. I think they may be a little bit more pragmatic now. The possession stats aren't quite as high, but the results are better. They've obviously had a good strong season last season and are going well so far this season. So they'll present a bigger challenge maybe than they have done in previous seasons, because they're not just there to keep the ball. They've got a better defensive structure, and they've got the ability to hurt us on the counter-attack more than they would have done in previous seasons. So we'll do our usual prep. We'll work incredibly hard getting ready, and as the first game to start us off in the second half of the season, it'll be a really important one for us to go and get 3 points.
Thank you.
Cheers, Luke.